Let me introduce you to UGC Buddy. UGC Buddy is our newest agent from UGC Pro right inside of Motion. And I'm going to show you just how powerful this is going to be and why this will change your brand and how you market today. First of all, you might not know what Motion is. Motion has really led the way in terms of making a transformative experience that essentially closes the feedback loop. And as somebody who's worked in this industry for about a decade now, my partner also 2 decades worth of experience knowing that that feedback loop is pivotal in figuring out how to improve performance. So Motion came to us. We at the time had a GPT in the GPT store, which hasn't been updated in forever now. In AI terms, it's been an eternity. We had about 20,000 chats, meaning 20,000 chats had been initiated with it, 4.8 stars or something. It's been very highly recommended and we've done zero marketing for it. But they came to us and said, what can we do to take this agent and put it in our platform and make it even more exciting and better? We said, hell yeah, let's do it. We got started about a few months ago. We went to work and we built this agent. I'm so excited to share all the things that we have planned, the things we've already built, and what's inside of this. What really does make this agent better than something you're using in ChatGPT, in Claude, whatever? What makes this any different? The most important part is that it is contextually aware live of your performance data. And that performance data includes what creative is being run, the transcripts from that creative, play-by-play of scenes, being able to analyze the actual video. But on top of that, obviously, the ROAS, the trend, how it's scaling, like looking at all these different intrinsic values, even custom metrics that you've made in the platform, and being able to tailor the creative strategy reporting experience specifically to what you need and what your goals are. I think Motion sees this and we're totally in alignment, is that there's also a lot of ways to go do that. You can go to any agency and they're going to have a different method. And for Kelly and I, we have 2 decades together of performance creative learnings, education, experience in this industry, working for hundreds and hundreds of brands, being able to say, how do we approach this problem and how do we find a solution? And we've come up with so many different strategies, techniques over these years, essentially have helped brands do that. And now we can optimize that into a format that goes with that live context. It's all just a bunch of really good information structured in a way that is task oriented. Everything is based around certain tasks, and those tasks are completed based on the context and our expertise of how to go about solving these problems or finding these things at scale. So just to share with you some of the brands that are already involved, there's a lot of brands using this and we're able to improve the performance as we see these brands come in. And I think this is what the direction we're looking in, is being able to see who wants to come use us. And we are an open book about figuring out how we can find solutions for you using this new tech so that that agent experience is phenomenally scalable for you. And as of right now, you can go in and use the agent right now. And these are the features we have today. And I'm going to show you how these all work. You can create UGC scripts. We have half a dozen methods of coming up with UGC creative, and doing so by looking at lots and lots of details, both out in the web, doing brand market analysis, and coming back and using your data to inform new strategies. So we have a strategy scripting task for you to help come up with these things and write them, full scripts, AV scripts, ready to go to send to your creator. We actually can help you with the agent, simple text prompt, recruit top tier UGC creators for your next campaign. So I need 2 women over 40 that have a health and wellness background. Boom, we've got you. We have thousands of students in a database here that it's referencing, being able to tell you people that we've personally trained and vetted are ready to go and what their rates are, how to contact them, where their portfolios are. We have a weekly report. Honestly, people have just been using it ad hoc whenever they want. It's really like a last 7 days report that goes through your ad creative, gives you new suggestions, something you could send a client, and it's just kind of like a casual, personalized newsletter for you. And then last, this one's really exciting, is a way to QC ads before they go live. We took, like, at least for now, a very specific approach to reviewing video ads. All you have to do is upload a video and it will dissect every aspect of it, break it down with our expertise distilled into a rating system where we're breaking down all these different points to help you distill where you could improve or iterate on this concept. And I'm really excited to share those. All of your information will load up here. I'm in a demo account, so bear with me. I'm going to go over to this little tab here where I can try all these different agents. Tons of different agents out there. You'll find our UGC Buddy, and you're going to be able to access that when you go to your data. Up here in the top right, you're going to see a drop down with all of your available tasks. In this case, you can see our beautiful fun unicorn, and you can select a task. Say we'll do find a UGC creator for your next campaign. So I'm going to say I would like to find a swath of creators who are also in marketing that could speak to the pain points of the marketing iteration cycle for performance creative. Okay, it goes through our database and it will create all of these different search filters, and it will go through and it will vet through a whole process of tasks within this task to go and find those creators. Just click that and it's going to be running in the background. And I can go back here and I can see it loading right here. Let's go back to one of these other ones I did. And so for this case, I said recruited creators are all e-commerce founders or business owners with proven experience in marketing, tech, and creative strategy, ensuring authentic, credible motion testimonials. It tells me a little bit about each angle when it selected these creators, why it selected them, gives me some recommendations who to move forward with. If you want to just quickly look and you're like, okay, 500's way too much, 200's nice, I'm just gonna go check them out. It's going to share information about them. This is their UGC portfolio, and then in here is a little bio, and sometimes it'll add extra information if it feels like it needs to clarify why it selected somebody. Especially if you give it a more complex prompt, it's gonna try and break it down into different groups and try and really like sort through all these creators for you. I'm just gonna go in, check one of the portfolios. She looks great. Again, all of these are vetted creators from us, people we have either taken our courses or gotten certifications or are people in our community. So let's go into another task. Let's jump into create a winning UGC ad script. And here I'm going to say create a script on using motion to iterate on performance. It could be that simple. You don't have to give it a ton of information and it's going to make that happen in the background. You don't have to do anything. Let's go into weekly newsletter for your account. This is a last 7 days report to give you a breakdown that you could send to a client. You could send to a new person on the account. It's going to give you kind of high level, how are these ads doing, strategic overview of how your strategy is progressing. I'm going to go through key market trends. So it's going to give you quick updates on things it's finding online through the web or through academic research. It's going to give you like a scoreboard here, and it'll even give you some actionable strategies like test 5-second AI hooks with UGC style POV shots to capitalize on the success of our AI influencers video, focusing on relatable scenario. That's a great one. Launch a community driven creative challenge mini series using the matrix format. Like this one, if stags are underperforming, implement dynamic overlays on static assets. So thinking about like, instead of like redoing it, can I add something to these ads that might improve it? Maybe there's a messaging change, some sort of badge. I'm already like thinking about things. Here's like a little bit deeper creative strategy. This is a section that's going to go over possible testing strategies, like specific detailed concepts. AI exposed your ad's secret weakness. Like these are titles of ads giving you kind of some thoughts and angles that it's going to go through. And it gives you a little bit more traction to go and start moving rather than these might give you, these are really there to show you what it's thinking about so that you could kind of iterate if you don't like the later ideas. But all this being said, it's a nice 7-day report that's going to go back and look at this data, and maybe you might learn something new. So next here is one of my favorite tools is the get expert feedback. You can take any ad that you're going to run, you upload it to the platform. It's going to go through and process everything. It's going to break it down here at the top. So this ad that I had given it, here's its recommendation after going through it. Prioritize earlier platform demonstrations and enhance the call to action with specific value propositions to boost engagement and conversion. Test alternative hooks that directly address common pain points for further optimization. We're going to see how it manages this scoring. We did a lot of work to try and get it as objective as possible, which includes a lot of like taking the actual data and distilling it into quantifiable metrics, especially like the creative. It's going to look at how you're using rhetoric. It's going to think about how often you're showing the product. It's going to measure if there's a level of like creativity that is surprising or interesting, like, because those things might help with engagement. They might help with view through rate. They might help with thumb stop, pacing. This is actually a really easy quantifiable one. It's about 1.5 seconds per cut is how long is considered good pacing. So we measure that benchmark of, are you cutting at least every 1.5 seconds, if not sooner? You know, it's measuring the quality of lighting, sound, audio, if it's peaking, if it's popping, and then, you know, obviously again, attention flow. Is it moving from topic to topic well? Rhetorical consistency. How often are we reiterating or improving the rhetoric over time? You're going to see a nice little chart here. Red is the worst. That means there's like a really serious issue. Otherwise, you can see here, I might want to try and experiment with higher production value creators or higher production value content, because it's, you know, it's organic content. I gave it like very organic UGC. If thumb stop is low, maybe these are where I could start improving. So it's going to break down what is the sales formula you're using. It says we're using the PASS formula. So problem, agitate, solve. I'm going to give you just some references to other formulas that you could be thinking about. It's going to go through ads it thinks are relevant to this, that it wants to compare against. So it has access to the entirety of your motion library. It's going through and it's going to look at specific ads, how they perform, and it's going to compare them against this. And again, this is in beta. This is like a new product. There are certain things that might bug out, but as you can see, there are ads under here where I can go in and I can see what ads are they talking about. I could run other tasks on them, and I can, you know, dive deeper into these ads and kind of like think about what I should be doing with this one before it goes live. It's going to go do research. I think that's a staple in all of our tasks, is doing external research to help see if we can find statistics, data from various sources that will like kind of help indicate maybe a new direction or a new thought or new data that could influence how we're thinking about things. So it's going to go through takeaways that it found while looking at both the data and those internet sources. And then it'll give you next steps. Obviously, AI is not perfect, but it's your job to distill all this information and go through and be like, what works for me? What are my takeaways? It keeps you thinking about something new and giving you like constant access to this data in a way that is just not possible for a human to process this fast. I had to go into the back end for this because there's something wrong with my dashboard. I think it's the demo account that I'm using, but when I created that UGC script, out came this. As you can see in the background, uses a ton of different calls to different AI. It creates note cards that it then distills into different research topics. So like this is a very extensive process built behind this. And with that comes errors, but with that comes some huge wins and improvements over time. When I wanted to create a UGC script and strategy, it's going to give me some overview points of what I should be thinking about when creating this strategy, what it's basing that off of, quantifiable proof, qualitative resonance, competitive differentiation, creative diversity, relatable storytelling. Great. It's keeping all these things in mind. Here's the script. Nighttime routine for better sleep with motion. This is really funny. Showcase how Motion's visual analysis platform helps marketers review campaign performance as part of a calming nighttime routine, emphasizing how the platform's insights provide peace of mind and better sleep. That's actually hilarious. Anyone else lie awake at night wondering if your ad campaigns are actually working? Then it gives you the visuals. I used to toss and turn thinking about which creatives were performing, what to optimize. That's why checking Motion has become the most important part of my nighttime routine. It's literally my creative command center. Instead of guessing what's working, Motion analyzes our top performing ads and shows exactly what creative elements are driving conversions. Look at how it breaks down competitor strategies too. One thing to know, AI is an ongoing process, but in here is a great starting place. That is something that we do have to like work on in our next update. But that said, the results from this have been very impressive in terms of the quality of the scripts and the quality of the strategy. So after it writes the script, it's also going to give you alternate twists and variations. So like how you could spin it if you're not really into it. You're like, it's close. It's going to already be thinking ahead and be like, here's some different options that we could twist it. The sleepwalking strategies. Maybe you want it's a little funnier. These are some ways that you could improve the end result. Hook variants to test, iteration and A/B testing opportunities. These are what we pay strategists for. I can go to my client or to my boss or for myself, and I already have all this information ready to go. And then it's going to give you quite a few of these. Again, like I said, it's extensive. This is about like 6 different scripts right here, all just based on your data, your information, what's performing, and our expert opinion on making that happen. As I mentioned, we're going to be coming out with updates over time. This is just our first iteration, and it's our first version of these things. The results have been really good. The public support has been outstanding. It's been amazing watching people use this, but we do have some new tasks coming up that are already built out, and we're just testing them to make sure they're ready for launch. I'd love to introduce you to our next update, which is the postmortem update. It's going to include prescriptive postmortem analysis, and our analyses use our own analysis format, which is called rich first flat, which helps take good or bad performance and then helps you structure that process in a way so that you can correctly iterate on it without being influenced by creative subjectivity of that it was bad because, or it was good because. It helps you really distill down the information, and now the AI just does that for you. So that's like the basis of what our postmortem analysis uses. And then using that, we also are launching a task that will help you bring concepts back from the dead, a process I've done a million times in this industry. The idea of taking an ad and having to reinvent it for testing, especially in an environment where running the same ads or similar ads are being punished, when you need all this creative differentiation, how do I take this concept and bring it back so that I could use it again? That's going to be one of the tasks. And then the last, this is the most like, take it for what you will, but I think it's a very interesting, fun task to be able to predict future results for the ad. So we do have the existing agent that analyzes your ad before it goes live. This will essentially create a future testing strategy of what it thinks it's going to perform based on existing ads. It's going to kind of reverse engineer the process, and it's going to say, hey, what are these similar ads? How did they perform? What are the differences? And it's going to go through a bunch of different ads like that, and then outcome a predictive analysis. It's not going to be perfect, but I think it's an interesting thing that, again, all of these are ways to start thinking about data in different ways, experimenting with data. They're not necessarily going to be your answer, but I think it's a really cool task. And from the early results of kind of playing around with this, I think it's really interesting. Right now, we see a lot of health and wellness brands, and Kelly has worked with health and wellness brands for much of her career. And we know it's a very hard and difficult process to manage, especially now with the FTC coming down on how you present social proof and how you present health and wellness on the platform, whether it's Meta or TikTok, like keeping you very on your toes about what you can and can't do. So we're going to have a health and wellness compliance agent. That's that middle one there. And that's going to be, I think the biggest thing is making sure that all the latest updates on compliance guidelines and being able to look at your ad. Now, I might do this for other things too in the future when we can add it. If there's other industries that need this kind of compliance check, being able to upload that future ad and be able to say, hey, like, is this compliant? Should I be worried about anything? Being able to look at that information, I think, is a huge boon to these brands who often have to pay legal fees, have to pay all these things for something that is essentially just a quality check. And then we have the health and wellness brand market analysis report. It's a hugely evolving industry. We want to be able to have a brand market analysis report that goes through all of your top competitors, but also your unseen competitors that are new startups and what they're doing, things that are working in the industry. And then last, we do have our UGC sourcing tool, and we want to be able to adapt that task to also help you specifically find fitness, nutrition, and medical related creators. There's a ton, and we've been amazed at how many are there, and the results of being able to utilize them and their expertise when talking about a health and wellness brand has been phenomenal. And I know it's hard to find those people at good rates and being able to expose like what are they charging. So being able to use those people from our massive database is also a huge win. And then last, you tell me what's next. You hit me up. Kelly and I are here to make this happen. I have no idea what's coming next. All I can tell you is Motion is incredibly involved and incredibly passionate about the idea of making these accessible. But on top of that, I know Kelly and I, are all in on this, and we want to make sure that we're able to consistently provide value, because this is a $25 a month subscription, and we want to make sure that if you're going to pay for that, you're getting your money's worth, and we're just going to keep adding to that. The postmortem update comes for free. Health and wellness update comes for free. And we're going to keep adding these updates, and thanks to Motion, we can do that with these agents. I can't speak for all of the other agents out there, how often they're going to be updating, how great their tasks are. I haven't used them all yet, but I can say for us, I'm super confident about the performance that these outputs have had, and I'm super excited to go see you use it. Reach out anytime if you have suggestions, things you want seen. Let's add them into UGC Buddy, and thanks for listening.